We're getting along very well with the Speaker, and I get along very well with Marjorie. I'm sure that Marjorie understands that. She's a very good friend of mine, and I know she has a lot of respect for the Speaker.
They know I mean exactly every single word I say, and I'm not full of shit just like Mike Johnson is.
Whoa, Margie, calm down. You're talking about the Speaker of the House here. I know y'all aren't on the best of terms, seeing as you've been threatening to oust him for over a month, but damn, have a little respect. Also, you sure you mean everything you say? Like even this?
And can you tell me why so many people that support Donald Trump love conspiracy theories, including yourself? He seems to attract lots of conspiracy theorists.
Well, let me tell you, you're a conspiracy theorist, and the left and the media spreads more conspiracy theories. We like the truth. We like supporting our Constitution, our freedoms, and America first. So,
what about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you off? How about that?
All right, that's enough making fun of Dairy Queen, because there's a lot to cover with regard to more Republican bandwagoners jumping on Marjorie's resolution to oust the Speaker of the House and star of Everyone Hates Mike Johnson. But real quick, if you know in your heart of hearts the Republicans are bad at governing and think you'll enjoy the video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We greatly appreciate it. So Mike Johnson continues to swim among the sharks of the Republican Party. And they're sharks not only because they obviously want to tear him apart, but also because 90% of the time, they don't actually do anything. You see, this is all part of the ongoing GOP civil war that is waxed and waned, sometimes flaring up with crazy comments like these.
See me up close. They know I mean exactly every single word I say, and I'm not full of shit just like Mike Johnson is. And I'm actually going to follow through with actions instead of lie to people on television and in press conferences and out on the campaign trail.
And sometimes being more subtle, like when Mike Johnson stopped the far-right tactic of kicking the can down the road to actually keep the government funded for 6 months. A move that made him no friends with MAGA Republicans because they view a functional government only as a win for Joe Biden and the Democrats, rather than, you know, the American people. So they have been doing everything in their power to stop anything from happening in Congress because, well, helping Americans through bipartisan legislation is a sin to them, punishable by the wrath of God via earthquakes and solar eclipses. And sure, they will claim everything is about the border, and they don't support new legislation or aid to Ukraine because it's not tied to the border. But that old dog whistle is as hollow and as stupid as, well, this.
The southern border will be directly in the path of totality today when the moon covers the sun for nearly 4 minutes.
We are told that officials are bracing for higher traffic than usual, and that means a real opportunity for smugglers and cartels and migrants to come right in.
Or they could just wait till nighttime. Is there nothing Fox can't tie to immigration? This year's cicada infestation provides perfect cover for Venezuelans.
Exactly. Not to mention the fact that the real reason they don't want to address the border is so that they can keep complaining about it to secure what they really care about, their re-election. Their dictator-in-chief even told them to do so he could use the border as a campaign gripe. But lo and behold, crazy continues to grip the reins of power and steer them clear of any real governance. Because yet another Republican has joined the far-right axis of incompetence.
There's only one person right now who can stop us from going into what happened last fall, and that's Mike Johnson. He's cleaning the barn, that's obvious.
So you want him to resign? You want him to resign?
Yes. Yeah, I asked him to resign.
What did he say?
He said he would not. And then I said, well, you're the one who's going to put us into this. Because the motion is going to get called, okay? Does anybody doubt that? The motion will get called, and then he's going to lose more votes than Kevin McCarthy. And I have told him this in private, like weeks ago.
And once again, we find the Republican Party in complete disarray. That was Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky announcing today that he will in fact co-sponsor the resolution to oust Speaker Mike Johnson. He told his colleagues during a closed-door conference meeting that he will co-sponsor the motion to vacate resolution filed late last month by, who else? Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, making Massie the first Republican lawmaker to publicly join Greene's effort. Because nothing truly secures your position on the far-right side of history like siding with the Jewish space laser lady. And it's truly crazy because just recently, Mike Johnson was so afraid of getting the Kevin McCarthy treatment that he had to cower down to Mar-a-Lago, tail between his legs, to go bend the knee to the big boss and get the Don's blessing just to signal, hey, I'm also a far-right Republican with no spine or values. Please don't fire me.
We're getting along very well with the speaker, and I get along very well with Marjorie. We have a speaker. He was voted in, and it was a complicated process. And I think it's not an easy situation for any speaker. I think he's doing a very good job. He's doing about as good as you're going to do. And I'm sure that Marjorie understands that. She's a very good friend of mine, and I know she has a lot of respect for the speaker.
But fat lot of good that did him. They're still calling for his resignation, which he did not take kindly to.
Mr. Speaker, what is your response to Republicans who say this move should cost you your job and that if you don't resign, they will try to oust you?
I am not resigning, and it is, in my view, an absurd notion that someone would bring a vacate motion when we are simply here trying to do our jobs. It is not helpful to the cause. It is not helpful to the country. It does not help the House Republicans advance our agenda, which is in the best interest of the American people here, a secure border, sound governance, and it's not helpful to the unity that we have in the body. Look.
Sound governance? Are you kidding me? It's like the Hunger Games meets Lord of the Flies in your Republican Party right now. Massie's announcement came less than 24 hours after Johnson unveiled the outline of a plan to move foreign aid through the House, which includes voting on 3 separate bills to send assistance to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, and a 4th measure that pertains to other national security priorities.
Iran's attack on Israel has ramped up pressure on House Speaker Mike Johnson to pass a foreign aid bill, despite threats by his fellow Republicans that he might lose his job. Today, a bipartisan group of 91 House members sent a letter to Speaker Johnson to bring the aid bill for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, passed by the Senate, to a House vote. On Meet the Press, the House Intelligence Committee chairman, Mike Turner, said he thinks there is support for the bill and he expects a vote could come this week.
But it's not even clear if that will get through, because in a departure from his previous positions, Johnson did not include border security provisions in the plan.
Israel weighs its response to Iran's attack on Saturday. Many lawmakers in Washington are rushing to pass additional funding for the U.S. ally.
We've got to stand strong. We got to tell the world and show the world that Israel is not alone here.
That's why House Speaker Mike Johnson has decided to separate aid for Israel and Ukraine. Funding for both was tied up in a multi-billion-dollar national security bill, along with aid for Taiwan in the southern border. But with more and more GOP lawmakers opposed to funding Ukraine's ongoing war, the legislation is at a standstill.
I think that's the best way to do it, is to separate the bills. It gives everybody a chance to vote their conscience in their district.
But this is not what the White House was hoping for.
We do not support a standalone.
We passed our bipartisan national security bill. They have to do it now.
With the funding now heading for separate votes, aid for Ukraine could be on the chopping block.
Russia won't stop in Ukraine.
I called the president to give him a heads up and explain to him exactly what we're doing. We're not going to be rolled by the Senate. The House is its own body.
While most Republicans support the standalone bills, Johnson is taking some heat for not including border security measures.
I didn't like the fact that we're seemingly abandoning the border, which is the hill we said we were going to die on for a long time.
He's definitely not going to be Speaker next Congress if we're lucky enough to have the majority.
Yeah, you know what? She's probably right there, folks. At this rate, no matter who wins the chamber next election, we might be looking at Speaker Hakeem Jeffries either way. This all reminds me of that famous Robin Williams quote that politicians should be forced to wear sponsor jackets like NASCAR drivers so we can see who really owns them. Because it would be so cathartic to see all these far-right Republicans walking around with Russian flags. Because let's be honest, at this point, that is who they're governing for, not the American people. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to know your thoughts on anything we discussed here, so let me know in those comments down below. Unfortunately, a lot of our videos are still getting demonetized by YouTube's algorithm for seemingly no reason at all. So if you can, we'd also greatly appreciate your support here or on Patreon, so we can continue to bring you more videos on the total clown show that is the Republican Party. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.